Thanks to Warlock and Hellraiser, the horror genre is hot again.
Isn't that something?
Now, from the critically acclaimed director of Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer, comes The Borrower, a new kind of horror film.
There ain't nobody gonna believe this.
An alien serial killer from another universe comes to Earth.
You are weird.
It's a monster.
And Ray Don Chong is the detective who must find him.
Oh my God.
Not since Reanimator has there been such a movie. The Borrower, the ultimate head trip.
Kinda cute.
Let's get to today's movie, which is 1991's The Borrower. The film starts off with an alien talking to what looks to be a human, but that's also an alien too, apparently. So this first alien tells the other alien, hey, you are in deep shit. You've been, traipsing around the universe, doing all kinds of bad stuff. So what we're going to do is we're going to trap you in the body of a human being and drop you on Earth, because that's the worst thing you could ever imagine, being on Earth as a human being.
You've been genetically devolved.
What?
Genetically devolved. This is your punishment. The worst sentence we could pass. You're a human being now.
A human being?
Yes.
Tom Towles as Bob and his son Kip are sitting in their car waiting for a deer to walk by. They both have shotguns, but both of the shotguns have 2 liters taped to the end of them.
Where?
The alien ship lands, and the creepy insectoid alien drops off this human form alien, which I found out was also the bad guy from Savage Streets. So if you've ever seen Savage Streets, you'll recognize this guy. Tom Towles, Bob, straight up just shoots the alien because it looks like an alien, and of course... So the alien kind of runs off, gets back in his ship, and they go to check on this humanoid creature, and it starts flipping out and screaming, and its head starts doing all these crazy things. There are some great effects in this movie. Bob tells his son to go run off and get something or tell somebody, and this being grabs Bob's leg, and then we hear a lot of screaming and a lot of bad times happening. This being has Bob's head, and that's the iconic image we have on the screen there. So I would say the first half of this movie is Tom Towles as this creature with, at least his head on the body of this new creature. And that's kind of something that I want to talk about. There's kind of a big, huge plot hole. The film's main focus is about an alien that comes to Earth and is forced to be in the body of a human being, but because he's an alien, he can't really, he can't hack it in a human being's body, so he keeps removing his head, and he just constantly needs a new human head. So he keeps stealing heads from human victims and then putting them on himself. But what happens every time he puts a new head on his body takes on the appearance of the body it came from. So it's just very bizarre, because at one point he uses a woman's head and he has a woman's body, and he uses, it just happens multiple times, but it gets confusing because he actually does use a dog's head and puts that on, but then he still has a human body. He's walking around a busy city, just kind of staring at everything, enjoying life or not enjoying it as a human being, because it seems like from his perspective, he's seeing how flawed we are as human beings. He's walking around just seeing like the worst parts of humanity, and he sees death, and he sees lust and just homelessness. This alien is kind of the audience in a sense, and we're seeing ourselves through the eyes of this alien, and so that's incredibly interesting, incredibly strange for a cheap sci-fi horror B-movie, which is why I love this movie. We've got the borrower alien that keeps borrowing people's heads, and also we have Rae Dawn Chong as Detective Diana, who is on a separate case, which of course merges with this case because that's how movies work. And that case involves this scary criminal named Scully, who is just being a general dick and just killing people at random and doing horrible things like a regular shitty villain. I think what the whole point of this side story, where we have Rae Dawn Chong pursuing this criminal, Scully, I believe it's to kind of mirror how this evil creature has come to Earth, and all it wants to do is kind of survive and to continue eating, which, yeah, it does eat people's stomachs as well as steal their heads.
Connie?
Oh my God.
But it's showing that this criminal, Scully, is almost as bad, if not worse, than this monster that's arrived on Earth. There's a confrontation between Rae Dawn Chong and Scully, where she's pointing a gun right at him in front of a convenience store, and a couple people come out, and what is so incredibly bizarre is that the people coming out of the convenience store, they don't walk, or run away. They don't walk around them. They decide to walk between Rae Dawn Chong and this criminal while Rae Dawn Chong is holding a gun at the criminal. They just decide to walk through. They're like, excuse me, I just gotta get real quick. Scully gets caught, and then he escapes, and there's some really rough stuff where he attacks the police officer that was guarding him at the hospital because he gets shot in the butt by Rae Dawn Chong. She ends up hearing more and more about these cases of bodies showing up without heads, and then someone's head showing up in the same location that was missing a head previously. It's on YouTube for free right now. You can also rent it and get the very nice version of it, the pristine Blu-ray version, if you don't want to watch the crappy VHS copy. But I would say either one is great. Either one is going to entertain you because this movie has so many interesting factors to it. It's a B movie, clearly. It's a horror film. It's silly. There's interesting views on homelessness because at one point, Tom Tolles, as the borrower, just kind of hangs out with this homeless guy played by Antonio Vargas, who was Huggy Bear in Starsky and Hutch. And they just kind of hang out for a while, and the borrower is just homeless for a while and experiences homelessness. He's just jumping from one body to another body, stealing heads. He experiences the low life. He steals a doctor's head, and then he experiences the life of a doctor, which is this great house and all these nice things. And he just sees the world. He experiences the world through the eyes of these decapitated heads that he keeps stealing. So there is a lot of blood for horror lovers, and it's really creepy. It's funny. It's well shot. The music is not great, but you can forgive it that. Thank you guys for watching B-Movie Euphoria's 31 Days of Horror 2021. Goodbye, y'all.